Coping with COVID with Tre Tailor. Updates on the pandemic and information to help you thrive and survive COVID-19. Brought to you by SCDHEC. Visit scdhec.gov for testing and vaccination sites. SCDHEC. Healthy people, healthy communities. In it together, SC and the South Carolina Diabetes Advisory Council presenting Wellness Wednesday every week on Coping with COVID. The City of Columbia Office of Business Opportunities, helping to meet the needs of small, minority, and women-owned businesses in the City of Columbia. Agape Counseling and Training Services. If you're having a challenge coping with COVID, visit Agape Counseling and Training Services at agapects.com. The Comet Bus System, offering free rides to get your COVID vaccine. Don't miss your shot. Visit catchthecomet.gov. Javis Financial Services, with over 20 years of experience. Computers Unique, Dutch Square Mall. Honest, professional, reliable computer sales and service. Palmetto Media Connections, connecting media and communities together. Coping with COVID from SCDHEC. In it together, SC, the South Carolina Diabetes Advisory Council, the City of Columbia Office of Business Opportunities, Agape Counseling and Training Services, the Comet Bus System, Javis Financial Services, Computers Unique, and Palmetto Media Connections.
Coping with COVID with Tre Tailor.
Hey, good afternoon, and thank you so much again for joining us on Coping with Tre Tailor. Don't forget, we are streaming live on the Tailor Made Production page on Facebook. Please go over there, hit like and share and follow so that you can get notifications as when to watch Coping with COVID on Wednesdays at 2 p.m. Eastern, and then Coping with Tre Tailor Thursday and Friday at 2 p.m. Eastern. We're also streaming live on the YouTube channel. Please go over there, hit the subscribe button, and don't forget that there you've got 2.5, almost 3 years of information, content, and resources that's right there waiting for you. We also have a presence on Instagram and also on Twitter. Today, we are coping with healthy relationships among teens. Dorlisa Adams joins us. She is driven to help decrease domestic violence and passionate about community collaborations. Her nonprofit is Visions of Women. It's a volunteer-based group that brings awareness about teen dating violence, sexual assault, intimate partner violence, and mental health to college campuses. She also has Visions of Women, which is a support group that provides a safe space for women to learn about and discuss healthy relationships, domestic violence, sexual assault, and their individual autonomy. Dorlisa, thank you so much for joining us today. We appreciate it.
Hello, good afternoon. Thank you for having me, Ms. Tre Tailor.
Absolutely. Absolutely. Thank you so much for joining us. And thank you for your work in this space. What are the stats, Dorlisa, for teen and college domestic violence? Because this is happening for our teens in high school as well as in college.
Yes, I actually just pulled up a few statistics that I got from the National Coalition for Domestic Violence. So, 25% of female students experience sexual assault over the course of their college career. 53% of victims of domestic violence were abused by a current or former boyfriend or girlfriend, and 21% of college students report having experienced dating violence by a current partner. So as you can tell, those statistics are, very in high rates, at alarming rates. And also those numbers are probably higher as we, learn all the time.
Right, because a lot of people are not reporting it, because these are just numbers that have been reported, right?
Yes, numbers that have been reported, studied just only, even in college, although those numbers have been reported, you can look at the reports that are on college campuses, numbers that have been reported for domestic violence. You may look at those reports and not see any, but it doesn't mean that unhealthy relationships are not going on those college campuses.
Yeah. So why is this happening, Dorlisa? What are some of the problems or situations that we're seeing that are causing domestic violence? Listen, I mean, I think we already know it happens. I guess my concern and question is, what's happening with teens and college students?
Well, for Visions of Women, our main focus has always been to educate and to teach students about healthy relationships and what that looks like. Mm-hmm. So through addressing those concerns, we've often learned that those unhealthy relationship dynamics have been happening and have started it from the home. That's why we talk about domestic violence, because that is physical abuse that has been going on in the home, violence that begins in the home. So when we go off to college, we leave high school, some of us may have been through bullying, even from middle school. I know myself, I was bullied. So
Me
you're
too.
experiencing, so you're experiencing unhealthy relationships there. And then when you go off to college, you may not know what a healthy relationship looks like, or even what love looks like. So you just take it, you just kind of take that first love love at first sight kind of thing, from someone who shows you love, but they're not respecting you. So when you are on college campus, or you have a partner, we call that intimate partner violence. If you have a partner that you're intimate with, so you're not necessarily married to them, as you would be if you call it domestic violence, with having two partners that are in the home, that are married, going through violence. But when you're off in those college campuses, you will often hear about intimate partner violence. So we try to educate on that, even just the different terminologies that you would hear among our students. Visions of Women, we're on 3 college campuses, so we're educating, we're supporting victims that have been through unhealthy relationships, and again, making sure that they know what those resources are. So we're leading, being a voice on our college campuses, making sure that students know, like, hey, like, you are not alone in this situation. Help is available. So there's resources on campus and there's resources off campus.
I love that you are right there on campus where girls and boys, young people can see you, have access to you, because I will talk about this a little bit later, but I'm sure one of the issues is resources, but we'll get to that in a minute, because I want to piggyback on something else you said, as far as you don't know what a healthy relationship looks like because you don't know what a healthy relationship looks like. You've not had something that shows you what it is. You're coming from dysfunction. So of course, we're just going to keep being gravitated to what we know, even if, and this is the crazy thing about the mind and in our spirits, even if we think it's a little off, it's familiar.
Yeah, that's true. And I think a lot of times, even with just that, again, going back to, if you don't know what a healthy relationship looks like, then when you get into those relationships where, someone is accepting you, you kind of, this is something new, this love is new. So you're now experiencing what it feels like to be with someone, for them to love you. Maybe they're bringing you gifts, or just making you feel beautiful the way things that you missed out on. Those type of different dynamics, even just family, period. That's why we talk about family so much, and the dynamic of family being so important, even just to a child. So when you're going off to college and you're meeting new people and you're getting into those relationships, I even just recommend parents, making sure that their teens and children who are going off to college know, about healthy relationships. And if that student has not been able to experience what a healthy relationship looks like, then they make sure that they seek those resources that are on those college campuses. Because if you don't know, then like you said, that'll be something that you just won't know because you haven't experienced it. So you do have to be very careful and aware of your surroundings.
Right. Dorlisa Adams joins us. She's with Visions of Women. It is a support group for teen and college age people to help them recognize and help them get supported through a healthy relationships. Let's talk a little bit, Dorlisa, about the different types of domestic violence, because it's just not one size fits all.
Yes, ma'am. So we have, of course, physical, that's being hit, punched, and then we have our
Pushed and shoved too, right? Even if you're,
shove.
yeah.
Yes, and then we have spiritual abuse, where somebody can be using, the word against you, saying, thou shalt not do this, or
Wow.
just using those, words against you, making you feel bad. And especially if you're a spiritual person, or you love to pray, like I do, someone can use, try to use the word against you, the word of God against you, and make you feel bad. But that's why you have to know yourself and know who you are, and know that you deserve better, and know that God does not want you to be somebody to abuse you,
Right.
So and then there's emotional abuse, where someone can be, talking down to you, calling you out of your name, verbal abuse, cussing and fussing at you, again, calling you out of your name,
Right.
making you feel bad. And then what else we have sexual abuse, forcing you to have, coercing you to have sex when you don't want to. Even if you're married, if you don't want to have sex, no one should be forcing you to have sex, so sexual abuse is involved. So there's a lot of power and control in these terms when we talk about that, within that, dynamics of different abuses that happen within domestic violence and within that power and control wheel. So those are just some of the few that can happen. Even financial abuse, that's a big one, and especially for women who have children. And so statistics show that it takes 7 times for a woman to leave, but that it can take 20 times for a woman to leave an abusive partner. And it could be so many different things that are involved. Again, especially children. People try to use children against you with decisions you're trying to, make when you're trying to leave, trying to use the children against you, So that's another one that people think that people really don't think about, but it happens a lot. So, and then with the financial abuse, going back to that is taking your money and not letting you have any access to it, so you can't do anything.
Right.
So it's just so many different things that go in with that spectrum.
Right. And I wanted to talk about it because I think people hear domestic violence and they just think physical. So, I wanted to get a clear understanding of the fact that there are different types. And these are the things that we need to look out for. Dorlisa Adams is with us, Visions of Women. It is summertime. Kids just got out of school. Kids getting ready to go back to school in a couple of months. And we wanted to have this conversation about how to recognize in your college and high school students if they're having unhealthy relationships. And so how do you know? How can you tell if your child, boy or girl, and I want to make this point because it happens to men and women. How can you tell that someone is in a unhealthy relationship?
Well, there could be a couple of things. For me, when I noticed when my friend was going through physical abuse on college campus, it was that she was losing a lot of weight. And what was happening was she was being told that she needed to lose weight, to the point where, until the point where I remember where she had passed out on me and a few other people as we were getting ready for our show, because I also sing. So we were getting ready for a show, but she had passed out, and it was the scariest thing ever. And I remember crying because this was so upsetting. And with teens, I have seen like cutting in the arm, in the wrist, even in the wrist area. So, cutting, having those suicide thoughts. And then, isolation. You can tell by, even if it's hot outside, and I know a lot of teens wear, hoodies or whatever, but, you just have to be even just careful with that too, with wearing long sleeves when it's really hot. Like, are you trying to cover up bruises? What is that? So we can also tell by isolation where the, female or male, they're not allowed to come around other people. They're not allowed to come around family or friends. And it's
Mhm.
because their partner is isolating them, don't want them to go anywhere. And that's because they want to have control over them.
Yeah.
So those have been the signs that I have seen to be most relevant when it comes to teens or students, going through abuse.
So loss of weight, cutting themselves or
Hmm.
injuring themselves, and of course
Hmm.
isolation. Uh,
Hmm.
how how do we talk to once we see those things, and whether they're our friends or our family members that are teens and in college students? How do we then talk to them so that we can support them and help them through this?
Well, I definitely encourage that you talk to them on the level on which they can, understand
Understand.
and be comfortable with doing it. And if you're not, then you can find advocates like myself, bring them to our, groups, like I told you about my Val Girls League for teen girls,
Right.
and then letting them, be able to watch shows like this where we're having those conversations, but it's not so like, in their face, like you're, shoving it, you know, um, but just being real about it. I always say that adults can be real about these conversations. And I've learned just over time and over my years of just studying domestic violence is that in some shape or form, we all have been through an unhealthy relationship, whether it was through bullying or it was with a partner where that relationship was not successful. We have experienced it. And I think we just need to make it a topic of discussion instead of not talking about it and hiding it. Because some women have, and men have been through unhealthy relationships. You would never know about it because they don't talk about it. And so I don't want to push people to talk about these things if they are not comfortable. But if you do have a child, a teen, a child who's going off to college, children who are in college, then you should talk about them by checking in and saying, hey, how are your relationships going?
Yeah.
Who are you building? Who are you building relationships with? Like, who are your friends? Just letting your child know, like, hey, I want to know, who you're conversating with, who you're around, letting them know that you care, you care about them. So I think that's important. And I think that's how we get to those discussions with our children.
You know what, Dorlisa? It sounds like to me we should probably have these conversations with our kids before we see some signs. I mean, like
Yeah.
you said, when I guess right at the point when I don't know when do you? I mean, obviously, if you've not had the conversation with your child and they're getting ready to go to college, definitely that's one of those conversations to have. But
Hmm.
when do you think we should start having conversations with our kids that include how to have a healthy relationship? Because this could be a friend or someone that they date, because that's why I said I don't even think we should wait till they get dating age, because
Yeah.
an unhealthy relationship may or may not be with someone that you're dating. It could just be a friendship.
Right. I honestly, I believe that as soon as your child, your child can talk, he or she can walk, they're going to, preschool or whatever it is. We need to be talking about good touch, bad touch. We need to be talking and showing them what healthy relationships look like when we're with our partners, in front of them. That's how we can show it. And then I know our children who are in youth groups, again, bringing experts in to talk about them, to have workshops. So I say as early as possible to let them know what a healthy relationship looks like. There's children TV shows, that
Yeah.
may have that those talking points that are talking about, being nice, not bullying, or what bullying looks like those are so many different, things that we can, tune into, and so many different things that you can listen to, watch, on those different types of topics, even if we don't know how to talk to our children. So I say as early as possible. I mean, children are so smart now. They're, looking at phones at the age of 1 and learning how to, tap on it. So they're smart. So yeah.
We're talking about teens and healthy relationships. Dorlisa Adams joins us. Her organization, Visions of Women, is a volunteer-based group that brings awareness about teen dating violence, sexual assault, intimate partner violence, and mental health to college campuses. And we're talking about how to address our young people about healthy relationships. So what resources, information, and support is available for not only those that are surviving and dealing with domestic violence, but for friends and family that want to help them? What resources are available, Dorlisa?
Yes, ma'am. So for teens, I always encourage, if you want to go to our visionsofwomen.org website, you can go there, as well as tap into our resources, what we have on there. Love is Respect. That's another one that you can take a look at, and you can text them for healthy relationship advice 24/7. You can always, if there is an emergency, family and friends can always call 211. So that's just a number that anyone can call to see what's the nearest. I'm looking at the screen here. So nice. To see what's the nearest resource in your area, for whether it's for youth suicide prevention, domestic violence, sexual assault, any of those type of resources. You can call 211. The National Domestic Violence website is another good one. And then of course, if there's an emergency, always call 911.
Right.
So but I always say, everybody don't want to call the police, but definitely if you need help, definitely 211 or my website. You can go on there and go to the different counties. There's 46 counties here in South Carolina, but anything national, then definitely take a look at Love is Respect for those national resources, or the National Domestic Violence Center, and the National Coalition for Domestic Violence and Sexual Assault has an abundance of resources on their website.
As you can see, Dorlisa's website, visionsofwomen.org, as she said, there are several resources available right there on the website for those folks that are family and friends of boys and girls that are dealing with domestic violence, and of course, the survivors. So, Dorlisa, how does a young person get out of the relationship and then not repeat the pattern, not fall into a pattern? Because it is a mindset. You can get out of one and then you just end up in another. So as we wrap up today, tell us, how do you get out if you're in it? If you're in it right now and you're afraid or confused, what do they need to do? And what do they need to do after they finally get out? Because I'm sure now it's a mental health thing to make sure, as they say, your mind is right, so that you're not repeating the same behavior.
Yes, if we go back to that old saying, when you know better, you do better.
You should.
We should do better. That was what I was going to touch on right there. You said it, Miss Trey. So I would definitely say we need to be creating our exit plans and have that extra strategy. We call it our safety plan. So I do my women's support group. So if you are interested in doing a safety plan or need help with doing that, please let me know. But a safety plan allows us to look at what we need to take with us in those emergencies when we're trying to exit, and kind of help us put it all together on what resources we may need to reach out to help us take that next step to get out of those relationships. So it can depend on what that situation is looking like. Some can be worse off than others, but definitely you can reach out to a trusted adult, someone that can help you Maybe you can give them a code word to let them know, like, hey, like, this is the last straw, I gotta get out of here. So you
Yeah,
can give
yeah.
them a code word. You can have a pack of clothes if you need to, hurry up and exit, have a bag and ready with all of the important items that you need. So you can have things in a safe place. Someone that you can give them items that you may need just in case you gotta hurry up and leave quickly. So having that extra strategy is important. And then for teens who may be home and may be struggling, as I've mentioned once before, even with just talking to you, Miss Trey, but sometimes students may be in a better environment when they are just at school. So
Right. Yeah.
there are counselors there to talk to, again, a trusted adult to talk to, letting them know what you're experiencing, what you're going through, and they can help you on that level. Schools now, most of them, they should have resource officers. And then when you're in college, you have your Title IX department. That's the department that does the investigation when situations pop up, like intimate partner violence or sexual assault. They are the ones that handle those cases. And then on some college campuses, there are sexual abuse trauma centers that are specifically for students who have gone through sexual assault or may need sexual assault resources, rather. So you can reach out to them. And then they have counselors on campus as well. So every situation can be different, but there's always someone that you can talk to. And
Right.
again, going back to my advocacy work, I just want people to know, like, they are not alone. There is help out here, and you can ask someone like an advocate. I'm an advocate for, domestic violence. So asking an advocate, can they give you some resources for the situation that you're going through? So there is help, and you are not alone.
Yeah, yeah. And it's good to know. And I'm just so proud of, the awesome work that you're doing. This is the Visions of Women website. As you can see, there are resources available right here from Dorlisa's website. It says county resources, campus resources, support resources, victim advocate, find out what your rights are. And also, if you need someone to talk to, or if you are a college campus or even a high school campus that wants the advocacy of Visions of Women on your campus, as they are in several colleges, then please give Dorlisa and her organization a call. The main thing is there is help available. And mom and dad, brother and sister, girlfriends and boyfriends, it's happening. It's happening with our young people. So those of you who are caring for young people, we've got to start having those sometimes difficult, but always important and needed conversations with our children early, as Dorlisa said, so they
Yeah.
can know what to expect out of a relationship, what a healthy relationship looks like. Because if they don't know, then they can fall into something
Yeah.
um, that they may obviously regret later. But there are resources available and organizations like Visions of Women, just like Dorlisa Adams has, that are out here to help. We've been talking to Dorlisa Adams with Visions of Women. Now, Dorlisa, you have an exciting new project that you're getting ready to launch that is kind of an extension of your advocacy work. Tell us about your new venture.
Yes, ma'am. So I am currently hosting the Vow on Shining Our Light Women's Inspiration Network Soul Win channel. It is a TV network station that you can download on Roku. So anyone, if you have Roku, download the app. It's a lot of information on there for people who may be experiencing unhealthy relationships or wanting financial information, resources, as well as individuals who may be going through a journey that may be not good. It's a station that's uplifting people who are maybe on a healing journey, or need information for youth who may be experiencing unhealthy relationships or wanting to know what college life is, how are different girls on college campus being able to build healthy relationships with other people. That's what our station Visions of Women talks about, shines a light on college students building relationships. I just did a awesome interview with a student who is currently doing an internship away from home. So how have they been able to build relationships? Talking about resources that are on these college campuses, just so many different topics that we're bringing to the table that we don't really see, on TV these days, but we're bringing it to the forefront. And again, this is an awesome resource, Soul Wind channel on Roku. Download it, and also you can go to soulwind.tv to check us out and check out the other hosts who are on Shining Our Light Women's Inspiration Network. So we do not discriminate. Anyone can watch it, and if you're interested, even just coming on my TV show, The Vow, Adventures to Loving Yourself and Beyond, like we are reminding our young people to love themselves, respect themselves through their journey while they are advancing through school and getting into their careers. So I want you all to check it out if you can, and let me know what you think. It's a very exciting project, and we are doing our launch June 30th this month, and then we'll be airing on Sundays at 8 p.m. So we hope to see you there, and let us know.
Wow, that is so exciting, Dorlisa. So exciting. Congratulations on your new venture.
Yes, ma'am. Thank you so much.
Hey, Dorlisa, thank you so much for all of the work you're doing in our community. And thank you so much for joining us today on Coping with Tre Tailor. We appreciate you, girl.
Thank you.
Hi, I'm Master Deputy Addie Perez with the Richland County Sheriff's Department Community Action Team. As a mother, I know it's important to take care of my health for those I care about. Part of doing that is knowing my risk for developing type 2 diabetes. So if I was you, I'll take the opportunity to visit inittogethersc.org and take an online test to find out if you have prediabetes. Again, the website is inittogethersc.org. This message is brought to you by the Diabetes Action Council of South Carolina.
The Comet gives me a reliable source of transportation.
It's very convenient to me, and they have wonderful drivers.
It's clean and it builds community. It's fun to meet people.
It makes me feel like really independent. It's just fun.
It's always going to be there and it gets me everywhere I need to go.
We try to ride every single day. Comedy is our livelihood.
Computers, they're a part of our everyday lives. But when they're not working, they're an everyday problem. So call Computers Unique, your everyday solution. 803-351-5821. Is your computer running slow? Won't turn on? Do you need a screen replaced? Or maybe you just need another computer? Well, Computers Unique is your one-stop shop for all your computer needs. They have a wide variety of new and pre-owned PCs, Macs, and tablets. So call Computers Unique, Dutch Square Mall. 803-351-5821. 803-351-5821.
Hey, thank you so much for joining us for Coping with Tre Tailor. We thank you so much for watching. Don't forget, if you have a story or initiative that could help someone cope with COVID, we're still coping with that, please email booking@copingwithtretailor.com, booking@copingwithtretailor.com. We will love to get you on the show. Also, if you have a product or service that could help someone cope with COVID, please email copingwithtretailor@gmail.com, copingwithtretailor@gmail.com. We would love for you to be a proud sponsor, just like Javis Tax Services, Palmetto Media Connections, the Fifth Circuit Solicitor's Office, also the Comet Bus System, Black Pages, Black Expo, Computers Unique, Dutch Square Mall, and Agape Counseling and Training Services. Please email copingwithcovid@gmail.com. As always, we leave you with a reading. Today, we are doing a Jesus Calling reading. This says, relax and let me lead you through this day. I have everything under control. This is God talking, not me or you. My control. You tend to peer anxiously into the day that is before you, trying to figure out what to do and when to do it. Meanwhile, the phone rings, the doorbell rings, and you have to reshuffle your plans. All of that planning ties you up in knots and distracts you from me. Attentiveness to me is not only for your quiet time, but for all of your time. As you look to him, he can show you what to do now and what to do next. Vast quantities of time and energy are wasted in obsessive planning. When you let me direct your steps, you are set free to enjoy me and find what I have prepared for you today. Let Jesus take the wheel, y'all. Jesus take the wheel. I'm Tre Tailor. Thank you so much for joining us today. Within the next time, I wish you peace and abundant blessings. Take care. God bless. Stay well. And if you're going to be out and about in large crowds, don't forget to wear your mask over your nose and under your chin. We'll see you soon.
Coping, find peace of mind to survive through whatever. Coping, learning the way that we thrive all together. Coping, finding out what's real. Coping, we can heal, we can heal, we can heal. Coping with stress, coping with strife, bringing hope for success, for improving our life. Coping beyond hoping to do more than survive, ways to live a healthy life. Coping and promoting, learning what you can do, 6 ways to a better you. Coping, find peace of mind to survive